Athens for a week. We got back on Wednesday evening, so our disclaimer is that we've been back a few days and our heads are still a little bit all over the place and catching up on sleep and all of that. But we went to Athens. We went with some guys from John Becker's church in America. And we went to basically serve a couple of charities that are working with refugees in Athens. So we went and helped those two charities. We visited refugees in the camp in the port in Athens, and we did a lot of walking. So before we went, we were asked, what are you looking forward to and what are you nervous about? So Jasmine's going to answer both those questions. No, Jasmine, tell us, kind of where are you at with what happened in Athens? What was the highlight for you, or what do you kind of feel like God showed you or is showing you through the week that we had?
That's tough, right? So I think throughout our time in Athens, I think we definitely witnessed the presence of God so many times. I think we were very blessed to be put into a situation where God's work was continually being able to happen. I think I expected to witness something that made me feel really disheartened. But along with everything I saw, yes, I felt really sad, but there was almost an element of, I felt very hopeful. I could see that, many of the people I had seen and spoke to had been through so much, yet they had hope and they were looking forward to the future. And many people I spoke to, some were very fortunate to be able to go to Germany now, which is where most refugees would really like to go. Some were going to Lithuania, I believe. And, they all, even though they've had such a rough few years, they all were really looking forward and really hopeful for the future. So I think I actually came away really I felt changed, because I felt that if they can find hope in something so sad, then I can find hope in, my life's not that hard in comparison. So I think it was a really hopeful trip.
All she said. So I feel really blessed to have met such beautiful people and beautiful strength. I had never met people in such situations, and I was really impressed about how they keep on hoping, and they have a lot of self-belief, and they just fight for their lives, really. And God has been speaking to me a lot, and if you've been following me on Facebook, you've seen that I write a lot too much about the people I met, and I feel like God wants me to share some stories. So Esther asked me to choose one refugee and to share their stories, so I'm going to try to be quick. So we met many refugees last week in Athens, and there's a group of refugees we met in a very unexpected way. On the first day that the American team arrived, they were jet-lagged and we were not going to do any work in any organization or go to any camps, so we simply went to the beach all together. Some of us went swimming, and in the sea, two young men splashed the girls, and Igor told them off, and they realized they were speaking in Arabic. So they talked and realized they were Syrian refugees. We went back to the beach and they introduced us to the rest of the group. And we did that again. We went to the beach again with them, played some music with them almost every day. And so we got to know them and know their stories, which I'd like to share with you. So there are 4 men and many children. They don't live in camps like some people we met, but they live in flats that were given to them by the Greek government, but they're not allowed to work, so they can only feed because they are given food coupons. They don't all live together, the men we met. They actually met on a dinghy boat from Turkey to Greece. Walid is the oldest. He's a dad to 3 sons and a dad to many. He lives with 2 of his sons, and one of them left Syria a year before and is now in Germany. There's Aser and his son Hassan. They have a daughter and a wife. There's also 2 brothers. They're only 19 and 20, Mustafa and his brother. Mustafa is on a wheelchair. He was wounded by the attacks in Syria, and his brother takes him to the beach every day, accompanies him on the metro and pushes him along on a long path to reach the beach where we meet them. And one of the days we spent there, we invited them for ice cream, which they finally accepted, but then they insisted we would come over to their place for dinner the next day. So we were invited at Walid's house in a small flat with bunk beds and a few mattresses that they put so fast for us. Walid lost his wife in Syria, so he's the one who cooked everything for us. It was the best food ever. Really, really, I love that type of food. That was amazing. And Aster told us jokingly that Walid is the mum, he's the dad, he's the chef, he's the hairdresser. Walid is everything. So when we were having dinner with them, he would just give us more and more food and put food in our hands. He's really lovely man. And when we saw him the last day at the beach, he told us to open our hands, and then he put sunflower seeds in it, so much that it overflowed. And I remember thinking, surely this is how God gives. This is the grace of God. And we met many people during this trip, and Walid and his friends are just an example of the beautiful strength in beautiful people. And though they are Muslim, we were able to share with them our faith and to show them the love of Christ in all the ways we could find. And we met them because they were splashing the girls, and they arrived in Greece because there's a war in their country. But Esther told me a few days ago, if that's not turning evil into good, then I don't know what is.
Right. Get a round of applause. Yeah, there are lots of stories that we can tell, and like I said, we're still kind of trying to get our heads around it ourselves. But we had the privilege of working with two charities. One called Bridges. They were setting up a new refugee centre that opened on Wednesday. And that's a place for Syrian refugees to come in to get help and support, legal advice. They can have all kinds of practical stuff as well. And we cleaned windows. We did a lot of sweeping to make this place ready to open. And it was an amazing building. And the couple that run this charity, the wife is Greek and her husband is Syrian. And you know when you meet people, and like I said to Morgan, like Vula, the lady, she just like had a twinkle in her eye, and she's just so passionate and about helping people, but just like full of Jesus. And she's the kind of woman that I just would like want to sit next to and hang out with, because I think that she just like oozes a load of good stuff. And so yeah, it was a pleasure to kind of help them. And we also worked at another refugee centre run by a guy called Alan. And again, it's a similar place where refugees can come. They have two different kind of groups. So one day where Arabic-speaking refugees can come, and another day where Farsi-speaking refugees can come, because those groups don't get on particularly well, so they have separate days. And again, it's just so encouraging. We played with children. We kind of tried to have conversations with people who couldn't speak English, and painted a few nails. I don't think we particularly changed the world, but it was an amazing experience. And yeah, I think we would all say that it felt like we probably received more than we gave. And yeah, there are some amazing people caught up in a horrible situation. Just encourage you, if there are ways that you think, how can I get involved? There's the two charities that we work with have websites with a load more information. You can give financially. They obviously, rely on people supporting them. They have a lot of faith, and they've seen God provide in amazing ways. And if you want to hear more about what they do from any of us, then please, do ask us. You can also send stuff like overseas, like, I don't know, clothes and things like that. So yeah, if you want to get practical that way, do that. So that is, do you want anything else to say? No? Okay. It was a pleasure to do this with these guys. We had a lot of fun, and we're just looking forward to seeing what else God wants to say to us through that, and hopefully, like as a church, how can we get involved in something that might seem too big and far away, but I think there's stuff that we can do. So yeah, watch this space. Great, thanks girls. You sit down.